in a world.
George, can you help me set up my recording studio?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Where voiceover talent are stuck in their closets.
Is there a way to improve the quality of my audio files?
Oh, yeah.
And they need to deliver finished audio tracks.
You are my hero.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet.
There is one man who takes it all on.
Real time, excellent, Whittam's World.
Whittam's World, rated VO.
Hey everyone, George Whittam reporting for Whittam's World. Well, let me say first of all that I want to thank one of our viewers, Jack Parnell, for pointing out the fact that I was using a noise gate last week. To him, it was very obvious, and I tried to mask it with some clever tricks, but he picked it out. So nice job, Jack. You got the Golden Ears Award for the week. Yeah, I was using a noise gate, and it was going from the mic through the gate into my system. So it was on the front end, an example of why certain processing on the front end, especially a noise gate, can be a really bad idea if it's not a good one, or if it's not set correctly, or if you had a really high noise floor. And that day I definitely did, because my computer's hard drives are actually fan was going bonkers. So good on you, Jack. So one of the, speaking of kind of noise floor and stuff like that, John Oak sent in a question. He said, I'd like to see or read a blog about how to determine and analyze the home studio noise. And if the floor is low enough, what is the most cost-efficient way to experiment with acoustics? He puts in quotes. Thanks, John. Well, let me first say that acoustics is a different issue. It doesn't have anything to do with noise floor per se. Acoustics is the sound characteristics in the room that cause echo, reverberation, and that kind of stuff from getting picked up by your microphone. So acoustics is a different issue. When we're talking about noise floor, that can be either noise from the outside of your building or outside of the room getting in, or noise that's in the room caused by equipment, like fan from like last week, or it could also be caused by just noisy equipment in general, just self noise of your microphone and everything else. So all these different things can cause noise. So I'll start recording here in Twisted Wave, just recording my own voice here, and let's get a little bit of room tone after I stop speaking so you can see where the noise floor is. Okay, and in a less than ideal room, this is just an office, and my computer is sitting on the same table as the microphone, and the microphone boom arm is bolted to the tabletop. All the things that we say are not good ideas for a voiceover studio I'm doing. But my studio is set up for doing podcasting. Different story, different thing altogether. So let's stop and let's take a look at the results of this little test. So when I do a noise floor test, I start recording. I will normalize to 0 dB, first of all. So what that's going to do is going to take my levels and bring them right up to 0. And so now when I measure how loud the noise is, that number that shows up will be the actual noise floor reading. If you don't normalize to 0 first, your noise floor reading isn't going to be quite accurate. Okay, so let's look at where the noise kicks in, or where my room tone starts, which is right here. So now we're going to look at the meter at the top right corner of Twisted Wave here. At the very top of the meter, there's a little indicator showing the actual level at any one moment in the file. And I'm going to zoom in and just look at this area where it's only the noise floor in the room tone. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to set it to loop playback and just let this play. And now let's look at this meter up here. It bumped up to -34 at one point. There was probably a random noise that caused that. So I'm going to select out of that range because it's kind of throwing off my room tone. And now we're getting a pretty clear idea that my room tone pretty much hovers right around -45 dB. So that is one way to get an analysis of your room tone, just by selecting an area of the room tone, highlighting it, and allowing it to play back, maybe on a loop, so that you can get a pretty good bead on what the peak levels in your VU meter are. Another cool thing in this software and some others is you can analyze anything. So you can choose File, Analyze, and it will show you that information in a more detailed format. But what we're most concerned about is peak amplitude. So in that section that I've selected, the peak amplitude was -45 dB. So that's what our noise floor is. So if anybody ever asks you what it is, that's how you measure it. I'll address how to reduce noise floor in another vlog post sometime down the line. There's a lot of different processes, but that's how you measure it. So I hope you found all that helpful, and we'll be keeping these coming every week. Keep sending in your questions to whittamsworld@edgestudio.com, and I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.